नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू गेट वाला। मैं हूं सतीश कुमार द्विशेट्टी, फैकल्टी ऑफ मेजरमेंट्स एंड इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन। कैसे हो सब लोग? मैं आप सब लोग को स्वागत कर रहा हूं हमारा यूट्यूब क्रैश कोर्स पर। अच्छी तरफ से चल रहा है यूट्यूब क्रैश कोर्स। आई थिंक एवरी वन ऑफ यू हु वाज प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर द गेट 2026 ऑलरेडी कंप्लीटेड सम पोर्शंस एंड दिस इज द टाइम फॉर द रिवीजन। अगर आप इधर रिवीजन के लिए आए तो ये सेशन बहुत यूजफुल होगा। जितने लोग लाइव में हैं मुझे एक बार एबीसी कंफर्म कर दीजिए बेटा, ऑडियो वीडियो क्लियर है नहीं, एंड आपका बैकग्राउंड भी कंफर्म कर दीजिए। आप कहां से हो, आपका प्रिपरेशन कैसे चल रहा है, एवरीथिंग यू कैन शो टू मी। ओके, सो ऑडियो वीडियो सब कुछ क्लियर है बेटा? इज एवरीथिंग इज फाइन? यस, आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर एक एईजी। ओके, सो आज का लेक्चर है एरर एनालिसिस, लेक्चर नंबर 1 पर हम स्टार्ट कर रहे। सो यूट्यूब सेशन में, so first before going to the session my dear students, how many of you are writing the gate 2026 exam for the first time? How many of you are writing this gate 2026 exam for the first time? Okay, yes sir. Okay, Bikram, so you are from AEG. Okay, AEG के लिए ये प्रिपरेशन यूजफुल होगा आपको, गेट का प्रिपरेशन। चल, so before starting the error analysis let me introduce the syllabus. Actually मैंने प्रमोशनल वीडियो में भी आपको दिया था सिलेबस के बारे में। so एक बार सिलेबस के बारे में मैं इंट्रोड्यूस करता हूं। so ये है हमारा मेजरमेंट्स का कंप्लीट सिलेबस। so if you see the measurements, these measurements can be categorized as the 3 parts. One is the electrical measurements, other one is the electronic measurements, other one is the non-electrical measurements. मैं non-electrical measurements पे भी ऐड कर रहा हूँ। Why? Because some of the exams, गेट एग्जाम में नहीं आ रहा है, लेकिन sometimes some application oriented questions are coming from that. Okay, so if you see these measurements, in these measurements I am going to check now. First comes the electrical measurements. Okay, next comes the electronic measurements. Okay, next comes the non-electrical measurements. Electrical, electronic and non-electrical measurements. So if you see the electrical, electronic, non-electronic measurements, so what we are going to get? Okay, so under the electrical measurements you will be having the major topic as error analysis. Error analysis is a very important topic, so that's what's today's topic. And after the error analysis we are going for the measuring instruments. So I'm taking certain measuring instruments. Okay, under the measuring instruments we have a big list, that is okay. So these are the major things. Yes, yes, BEML में 9 क्वेश्चंस आया था, बहुत इजी था। सो क्या है वो मेजरमेंट्स पे 9 क्वेश्चंस आ गए आपको? ओके, चलो नाउ इसके साथ साथ और कुछ बाकी है। उसके साथ साथ और क्या है? इसके साथ साथ अगर ध्यान से देखें तो रेजिस्टेंस मेजरमेंट, इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक वोल्टमीटर, इसके साथ साथ हमको ब्रिड्जेस भी है, ब्रिड्जेस पर भी क्वेश्चंस आएगा। तो ब्रिड्जेस में 2 तरीका ब्रिड्जेस है, डीसी ब्रिड्ज एंड एसी ब्रिड्ज। ओके, सो जरूर आपको ये सेक्शन से आपको लगभग इलेक्ट्रिकल मेजरमेंट्स में आपको लगभग मैक्सिमम वेटेज इज पॉसिबल अंडर इलेक्ट्रिकल मेजरमेंट्स। सो इलेक्ट्रिकल मेजरमेंट्स में बहुत सारा मेजरिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में उसके ऊपर आएगा। Next comes the electronic measurements. So if you see the electronic measurements, सो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मेजरमेंट्स में क्या आएगा, CRO आएगा, नेक्स्ट इसके साथ साथ क्यू मीटर आएगा, नेक्स्ट इसके साथ साथ DVM भी आएगा, डिजिटल वोल्टमीटर भी आएगा, CRO, क्यू मीटर, DVM. Okay, so under the CRO most important topics are frequency measurement, phase measurement, time period measurements and the Lissajous patterns. Okay, next comes the non-electrical measurements. This non-electrical measurements come transducers bolte hai beta. So this one is called as transducers. In these transducers we'll be having temperature, pressure, flow, radiation, humidity, displacement, velocity, acceleration. Okay, so ध्यान से देखो बेटा, this particular topic is actually IES के लिए है. This is in IES, it is not in GATE. Okay, so now this is in GATE and IES. This is also for GATE and IES. हमेशा मैं आपको ये ब्लूप्रिंट देता हूँ. एवरी टाइम आई विल गिव दिस पर्टिकुलर ब्लूप्रिंट बिकॉज एग्जाम स्टार्ट करने के पहले आपको ये अच्छा शेयरिंग बिट से आया था. सो यू आर एबल टू डू दिस. विक्रम, आपने मेरा पुराना क्लासेस अटेंड कर चुका है. चलो आज हम स्टार्ट करेंगे एरर एनालिसिस. सो व्हाट इज एरर एनालिसिस? एरर एनालिसिस में क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं? ओके, सो फर्स्ट आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन यार. गेट 1993 का सवाल है. सो ट्राई टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन. How to do this question? Please make an answer of this. Okay, how to understand this question? The percentage limiting error in the case of an instrument reading of 8.3 volts, 8.3 volts with a 0 to 150 volts voltmeter. So this is how much? 0 to 150 volts voltmeter having a guaranteed accuracy of 1% full scale reading is dash. So now if you see, this is 0 to 150 volts voltmeter. Okay, the percentage limiting error in the case of instrument reading of 8.3 volts. This is 8.3 volts. Okay, so first of all he has mentioned, what is mentioned? Guaranteed accuracy error is mentioned. Guaranteed accuracy error is given. What is this guaranteed accuracy error? कोई बोल सकते guaranteed accuracy बोल तो? What do you mean by this guaranteed accuracy error? Can anybody tell me what do you mean by guaranteed accuracy error? Do you have an idea of guaranteed accuracy error? Yeah. Okay, you are telling the trick. Okay, that's fine. But remember, guarantee accuracy you should understand. Guarantee accuracy is always expressed with respect to full scale value. Is expressed always with respect to full scale value. So what is the full scale value, sir? That is 1 by 100 into 150. So if you check now, so this will be how much? 1.5 hoga. Okay, so now he is asking the percentage of limiting error. Percentage of limiting error with respect to 8.3 volts. Okay, so now when you express this particular error, express this error with respect to 8.3 volts into 100. So how much you are going to get? Okay, so 1.5 divided by 8.3 into 100, it is going to come as 18.07%. So the right answer here is option C. Okay, let us go for the next question. So try to answer this question. IIT Delhi 1992 का सवाल है. So this particular topic is related to what? This particular topic is related to what? Just go through the question. This particular topic is related to the product of quantities or sum of the quantities. So before solving this question, I will give you the trick. So the trick is, in sum of quantities, so let me write here, in sum of quantities, the resultant, are understanding? So please be live. In sum of quantities, the resultant absolute error is equal to addition of equal to sum of their individual absolute errors. Their individual absolute errors. In sum of quantities, the resultant absolute error is equal to sum of their individual absolute errors. Okay. Next, if I go for in product of quantities, product or division of quantities, the resultant percentage error is equal to, the resultant percentage error is equal to sum of individual percentage errors. Okay, so please make a note of these points. In product sum, in product of division of quantities, the resultant percentage error is equal to sum of individual percentage errors. क्लियर हो गया? Easy है? Okay, okay. So now from this you can answer this question. ऐसा ये पर्टिकुलर मॉडल पर रिपीट हो रहा है, हमको बार बार ऐसा ये पर्टिकुलर मॉडल पर हमको रिपीट हो रहा है. 15 people are watching. एक बार मुझे थम्स अप दिखाए बेटा, जितने लोग लाइव में वॉच हो रहे हैं एक बार मुझे थम्स अप दिखाए. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर वाचिंग इन द लाइव? प्लीज शो मी द थम्स अप or you can say the hi. So try to answer this question. A resistance is measured by a voltmeter ammeter method employing a DC excitation and voltmeter of high resistance connected directly across the unknown resistance. If the voltmeter and ammeter readings are subjected to a maximum possible errors. So first of all, there is a DC supply. So there is a resistance whose resistance has to be measured. So the voltmeter is connected across, it's a AV method or VA method is telling. So this is the voltmeter ammeter method. So voltmeter comes first. This is a VA method. Okay. Resistance is measured by the voltmeter ammeter method, employing DC excitation and a voltmeter of very high resistance connected directly across the unknown resistors. If the voltmeter and ammeter readings are subjected to a possible errors, so percentage error in voltmeter is plus or minus 2.4%, percentage in current plus or minus 1%. Okay, so now yes, Parpula Santosh, namaskar, kahan se ho? Okay, so this particular R is equal to V by I. So percentage of R is equal to percentage of V by percentage of I. So that if you take the 2.4 plus 1, so कितना होगा 3.4 percentage होगा. So सही आंसर होगा ऑप्शन डी होगा. ऑप्शन डी इज द राइट आंसर पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. समझ में आ गया बेटा? Any doubts? 13 people are watching. Okay, chalo, let us go for the next question. Yeah. How to answer this type of questions? So please try to answer this question. IIT कानपुर 2001 एरर एनालिसिस का टॉपिक है. So इसके ऊपर आंसर करने की कोशिश कर दीजिए. Yeah, how to solve this type of questions? Yes. थ्योरी भी पढ़ा रहा हूं भाई आपको, तो ओनली थ्योरी नहीं मिलेगा, क्वेश्चंस के पास जाएगा. यूट्यूब सेशन है ये. ओके, क्वेश्चंस के साथ जाएंगे. एरर एनालिसिस में क्वेश्चंस के साथ थ्योरी भी पढ़ जाएंगे. ओके, सो नाउ हाउ टू think this resistance R1 and R2 have respectively is given. Okay, nominal values of 10 ohms and 5 ohms and tolerances plus or minus 5% and 10%. The range of values for the parallel combination. So already we know that if two resistors are connected in parallel, R1 R2, so what is the R equivalent? That is R1 parallel to R2. So we can write it as 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Okay, so yes, somebody posed the question. First measured value फाइंड करेंगे, देन ट्रू वैल्यू करें, उसके बाद EMT माइनस 80/80. अभी सिन्हा मेजरमेंट्स में न्यूमेरिकल ज्यादा रहता है, न्यूमेरिकल के साथ साथ थ्योरी पढ़ाएंगे. हाँ, हाउ टू फाइंड आउट दिस? सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू टेक द R1. सो व्हाट इज द R1? हैव यू फॉलोड माय प्रीवियस क्लासेस? विक्रम जी, आपने बहुत अच्छी तेज रूप से बहुत कमेंट्स चल रहे हैं. हैव यू फॉलोड मेरा प्रीवियस क्लासेस? सो R1 का वैल्यू कितना है? अच्छा, ठीक है. BI बोलो तो बाय बोल रहे, जाओ। ओके, सो R1 इज इक्वल टू व्हाट, 10 ohms। ऐसा क्वेश्चंस को कैसे करना है, 10 ohms प्लस और माइनस 5% है। नेक्स्ट R2 कितना है, R2 इज इक्वल टू 5 ohms प्लस और माइनस 10%। ओके, सो देर आर टू मेथड्स टू सॉल्व दिस प्रॉब्लम। सो मुझे R इक्वलेंट तो पता है, सो व्हाट इज दैट R इक्वलेंट, वी नो दैट R इक्वलेंट ये है, दैट इज R1 R2 डिवाइडेड बाय R1 plus R2. So, but what is the value of R1 I have to take? R1 is having two possibilities, right? So, 10 ohms plus or minus 500, 5 by 100 of 10. So, then what happens, this gets cancelled, 10 ohms plus or minus 0.5. So, it is becoming as 9.5 ohms and one more set is 10.5 ohms. ये है हमारा R1। Understood? Next, let us go for the R2. R2 is equal to 5 ohms plus or minus 10 by 100 of 5. So that will become as 5 ohms plus or minus 5. So now the R2 will become as 4.5 ohms and 5.5 ohms. Right? So now you can take the two sets. So this set you can take and this set also you can take. So now if you take the R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2, so two sets we can take. What are the two sets? You see, so that is 9.5 into 4.5 divided by 9.5 plus 4.5. Okay, or another set value is 10.5 into 5.5 divided by 10.5 plus 5.5. Done? Yeah, कितना आएगा आंसर इसका? So 9.5 into 4.5 divided by 9.5 plus 4.5. So this is coming around, the answer has here, this answer is coming as 3.0535. And this answer will be how much? 10.5 into 5.5 divided by 10.5 plus 5.5. 3.609. So approximately you can take 61. 3.61 if you take. This is 3.06 if you take 3.06 and 3.61 के लिए the right answer is option A is the right answer. Option A is the right answer. Is it clear? Sure. Now let us go for the next question. Next methodology I will tell you. The method 2 also I will tell you. Why? Because if 3 resistors are given, you cannot follow this method. It will become complicated ना. अगर आपके पास 3 methods, 3 resistors है तो then this method is going to be complicated. समझ में आपको? Method 2 क्या होगा? So method 2 है partial differentiation method. So method 2 है partial differentiation method. So 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by. So partial differentiation of R. So that is minus 1 by R square. This is minus 1 by R1 square. dR1 by dR minus 1 by R2 square dR2 by dR. Okay. Chal. Now minus gets cancelled. So 1 by okay. So now if I am taking Okay. dr1 by r1 सही है. So I'm just separating this and I'm taking the r here. Okay. So now if I'm multiplying this with 100, plus, so this is percentage error in R1, this is percentage error in R2, this is percentage error in R. Okay, ये मेथड भी हम यूज कर सकते हैं. परफेक्ट रिप्रोड्यूस सिस्टम में नो ड्रिफ्ट सही होगा या जीरो ड्रिफ्ट? नो ड्रिफ्ट. एक्चुअली ड्रिफ्ट बोलो तो क्या है ना, जो हमारा पॉइंटर का रीडिंग रहता है, when the pointer is at stationary, when the pointer is at 0 point, when the pointer is at a 0 point, when no input you are giving, the point should be stationary na, point should be stationary. When you are not giving any input, the point should be stationary. But what is happening, so because of some environmental effects, that pointer will be making shuffling, so that's why. Okay, so now please calculate this. So ये method से भी करवाए आप. So percentage in R1 is given, percentage in R2 is given, आपके पास है 5% and 10%, and R कितना है, R भी आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. R is equal to 10 by, R is equal to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So 10 into 5 by 10 plus 5, that is 10 into 5, 50 by 15. So मैं आपको सिंप्लीफाई करके देता हूँ. So percentage R is equal to 50 divided by 15 whole. Okay, next R1 कितना है, R1 is equal to 10 ohms, and what is the percentage in R1, that is 10%, plus 50 by 15 the whole divided by 5 ohms and 5%. Please simplify this and check whether it is matching or not. Please simplify this, whether check it is matching or not. अमित जौहर dr1 by r1 में 5 होगा. ओके ओके ओके. अच्छा, this is 5%. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is 5%, this is 10%. Have you simplified it? Amit, have you simplified it? So इसका आंसर and इसका आंसर सेम ही होना है. Okay, how much you are going to get? How much you are going to get this particular thing? So this is 50 by 150.33. फाइव परसेंट आ रहा है ना. और कितना आ रहा है? हाउ मच परसेंटेज इज कमिंग? एक बार चेक कर लो. यस, 5% आएगा इसका आंसर. So now if you percentage this, R will be R plus or minus R equivalent plus or minus 5%. So R equivalent is 50 by 15 plus or minus 5%. So that answer will be again the same, 3.6, again the same, around 3.6 to 3.06, 3.06, 3.6 होगा. चेक कर लो आप. 3.06 to 3.61 होगा. चेक कर लो, आप चेक कर सकते हैं, आपका आंसर भी सेम आएगा. ओके, सो अगर हमारे पास ऐसा मल्टीपल रेसिस्टर्स है तो हम कैसा डिफाइन करना, देखो. सो इफ यू हैव मल्टीपल रेसिस्टर्स, सपोज आर इक्वलेंट, सपोज इफ यू हैविंग 1 by r is equal to 1 by r1 plus 1 by r2 plus 1 by r3 so on so forth 1 by rn, then the percentage error is equal to what? So here the percentage error in R is equal to R by R1 percentage error in R1 plus R by R2 percentage error in R2 plus R by R3 percentage error in R3. Okay na? So on and so forth, R by Rn percentage error in Rn. So this is the formula, please remember this. जिंदा हो, जीवन में हो, समझ में आया? Got it? Okay, chalo, let us go for the next question on this context. Yeah, try to answer this particular question. IIT Bombay 99 का सवाल है. IIT Bombay 99 का सवाल है. Different ways, different methods I am discussing, beta. A current of, see here, this is a current equation. I of t is given 2 plus root 2 sine of 314t plus 30 degrees plus 2 root 2 cos of 942t plus 45 degrees. So this is a current equation is mentioned. Thermocouple type 5 amperes. So it is measured by thermocouple. See, आपको ये पता होना है, thermocouple measures the RMS value. Next, Class 1 meter means 1% of guaranteed accuracy error. Okay, now the question asked, full scale value is given as how much? 5 amperes. Okay, beta. So try to understand, try to do this question. आंसर कितना है यार? ओ यार, दिस अ गेट इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन का क्वेश्चन है। I of t is equal to 2 plus root 2 sine of 3140 plus 30 degrees plus 2 root 2 cos of 942 plus 45 degrees. So thermocouple measures the RMS value. Class 1 meter है, 1% guarantee accuracy है. Full scale value is 5 amperes. Okay. So first of all, thermocouple का IRMS find out करो. So what is the IRMS for this? इसका IRMS find out करो. IRMS कितना होगा? 2 square plus root 2 by root 2 whole square 2 root 2 by root 2 whole square. समझ में आपको? So this will be how much? This will be 4 plus 1 plus 4. So you are going to get 3 amperes. So these 3 amperes can be taken as measured value. That is, the full scale value is 5 amperes. The full scale value is 5 amperes. And what is the guaranteed accuracy error? 1% guaranteed accuracy error. That is 1 by 100 of 5, that is 0.05 amperes. 0.05 amperes. So now percentage of limiting error for measurement of 3 amperes will be how much? This value 0.05 divided by 3 into 100. So how much you are going to get? So actually directly आप ऑप्शन को चूज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ऑप्शन 3 amperes एक ही है, ऑप्शन सी है। 1.7% आ रहा है। अभी चेक डिट 1.7%। विक्रम जी जल्दी बताओ। So different ways of asking the question, you try to understand and do it. So answer is coming around 1.7%. ओके बेटा, चलो और कुछ डिफरेंट वेराइटीज ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आई वांट टू डिस्कस माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स। बिकॉज okay, meanwhile you can solve this question. Meanwhile you can solve this question. IIT रुड़की 2017 का सवाल है। IIT रुड़की 2017 का सवाल है। प्लीज meanwhile you solve this question. you. Good morning. Yeah, I am collecting some good question. That's why I am taking time. So, what is the answer for this question? I am expecting the answer. Nobody is giving the answer. क्या YouTube में भी पोल का ऑप्शन है हमको? या इसका आंसर क्या है? आईआईटी रूरकी 2017 का सवाल है. चलो, the following options. So what is given here? The following measurement are obtained on a single phase load V is equal to 220 volts plus or minus 1%, and the current is equal to 5 amperes plus or minus 1%, and W is equal to 555 watts plus or minus 2%. If the power factor is calculated using these measurements, the worst case error in the calculated power factor is what? So what is the power expression? Power is equal to V into I into cos phi. So cos phi is equal to W by Vi. So this is the percentage of power factor, sir, is equal to percentage of W plus percentage of V plus percentage of I. Okay, so that is given as 2% and V is given as 1% and is given as 1. Very easy questions, miss mat karna. So the right answer is 4%. Okay, जितने लोग लाइव में है उसको आंसर कर दीजिए बेटा. आंसर is 4%. Is it right or not? 4% आ गया आंसर. या चलो, let me do some more good questions. See, for instrumentation people, sometimes the quality of the questions is very difficult. Even though it is a less underrated branch, but the quality of the questions is superb. Okay, so what is this question? The threshold of an instrument is normally defined as what? This is a gate instrumentation question, my dear. So exclusively gate instrumentation वालों का question है. IIT Delhi 1992 का सवाल है. As a smallest measurable input change. Okay. Yeah. What is the answer? As a smallest measurable input change which can be detected, as a smallest measurable input which can be detected in terms of linearity of the scale as a function of drift. Yes. As a smallest measurable input change which is non-zero value which can be detected, as a smallest measurable input which can be detected. ये दोनों में देखो कितना confusion है. That's what I like instrumentation paper का concept जो है था ना instrumentation का, इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट यही रहता है. द थ्रेशोल्ड ऑफ एन इंस्ट्रूमेंट इज नॉर्मली डिफाइंड एज व्हाट? एज अ स्मॉलेस्ट मेजरेबल इनपुट चेंज, as a smallest measurable input which can be detected. Input change, this is the smallest measurable input change. So this is resolution. This is the smallest measurable input which can be detected. So which can cause a non-zero output. Which can be detected means a non-zero output. Remember this value. Non-zero output. So option B is the right answer. First one is the input change. I mean secondary electrical. I am studying from you, sir. Yes, प्रियांशु, आपको डेफिनेटली ये सेशंस बहुत यूजफुल होगा. डेफिनेटली आपको ये सेशंस बहुत यूजफुल होगा. ओके, चलो लेट अस गो फॉर द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. या प्लीज आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन. आईएससी बैंगलोर 1996 का सवाल है. आईएससी बैंगलोर 1996 का सवाल है. ट्राई टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चंस. मेक इट फास्ट. यस, क्या आंसर है इसका? आंसर प्लीज आप रिस्पॉन्स दीजिए भैया. प्रियांशु जी आप रिस्पॉन्स करिए, मुझे रिस्पॉन्स. 3 मेंबर्स आर वाचिंग. रिस्पॉन्स दीजिए. सी मैच द टर्म्स एंड द डेफिनेशन. व्हाट इज एक्यूरेसी? एक्यूरेसी बोलो तो क्या है? सेंसिटिविटी बोलो तो क्या है? रिपीटेबिलिटी बोलो तो क्या है? रिजोल्यूशन बोलो तो क्या है? एक्यूरेसी मींस क्लोजनेस टू द ट्रू वैल्यू. एक्यूरेसी बोलो तो क्या है? इज द क्लोजनेस टू द ट्रू वैल्यू. सो the ability to display the same reading while measuring a quantity, that is called the precision. Actually it is also called repeatability. The smallest perceptible change in the output, closeness ratio of change in, so this is a sensitivity. Sensitivity means delta y by delta x. Okay na? Ratio of change in the instrument, ratio of change in the instrument reading to the change in the measured quantity. So this is the resolution, sorry sensitivity है ये. So आंसर करिए बेटा जल्दी, मैंने डेफिनेशंस दिया आपको. चलो अभी क्या होगा देखो, sensitivity is a ratio. Okay, next accuracy means closeness to the true value. Okay, next repeatability means the ability to display the same reading. Next resolution, the smallest perceptible change in the output. Okay, so D goes to 2. So what is the right answer? D goes to 2, C goes to 1, B goes to 4, A goes to 3. So option C is the right answer. क्या हो गया यार, आंसर नहीं आ रहा आपसे. चलो let us go for the next question. See here, see this question, how to answer this type of questions. ISC Bangalore 2002 का सवाल है. The radius of a sphere is given as 40.0 plus or minus 0.5 mm. The estimated error on its mass is dash. Done it. See, the radius of the sphere is given. So the radius of the sphere is given as 40.0 plus or minus 0.5 mm. Okay. So first of all, plus or minus 0.5 means that is how to find this. It is given in terms of R, but he is asking the mass. So what is the mass formula? So we know that density is equal to mass by volume. So this is the instrumentation question, that's why I am discussing. Density is equal to mass by volume. So mass is equal to density into volume. So M is equal to rho into V. So that means what I can write? M is proportional to volume. That means what I can write? Mass is proportional to volume. So mass is proportional to volume. So now percentage error in mass is also proportional to percentage error in volume. Yes or not? So that means what? dm by m into 100, the percentage error in mass is proportional to percentage in that. So first of all, we will find out the percentage error in volume. So what is the volume formula for a sphere? Sphere formula, that is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So that is the formula of volume of a sphere. Okay, so now if I am taking the percentage error, so if I take the percentage error, differentiation of this with respect to dou v, so 4 by 3 pi, this is 3 r square, so this will be dou r hoga. Am I right or not? So what I am going to get now, so dou v is equal to 4 pi r square into dou r होगा. So मुझे dou v by v into 100 चाहिए. So if I calculate the dou v by v into 100, so if I am taking dou v by v, that is 4 pi r square into dou r, the whole divided by this one, 4 by 3 pi r cube. So now here 4 gets cancelled, pi gets cancelled, okay, r gets cancelled. So what I am going to get, 3 will come here, r will come here, sorry, 3 into dou r by r will come here. Okay, so dou v by v is equal to 3 into dou r by r. Okay, so this is r, 3 into dou r by. So dou v by v into 100 कितना होगा, परसेंटेज एरर, dou v by v into 100 कितना होगा, so 3 into dou r by r into 100 होगा. So already dou r दिया है, that is 0.5 and r given है 40 into 100. So how much you are going to get? So that is going to be the proportional. So how much you are going to get? That is 3 point plus or minus 3.75%. So this is the percentage error in mass will be proportional to percentage error in volume. So the estimated error will be how much? 3.75. Option A is the right answer. Excellent. संतोष रजबार, कहाँ से हो? इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन का बच्चे आप? Okay. चलो, answer is that 3.75%. Very good question. Yeah, try to answer this question. Make it fast. Try to answer this question. Make it fast. Three DC currents I1, I2, I3 meet at a node with I1 entering and I2, I3 leaving. So there is a node where I1 is entering, I2, I3 leaving. This is I1, this is I2, this is I3. Three DC currents I1, I2 and I3 meet at a node with I1 entering and I2, I3 leaving. The I1 and I2 are measured as 100 milliamperes. So I1 is given as how much? 100 milliamperes. I2 is given as 99 milliamperes, plus or minus 1%. Okay, then the value of I3 is asking and accuracy in percentage is asking. So we know that I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. So I3 is equal to I1 minus I2. So I1 minus I2 means 100 minus 99, that is 1 milliampere. So first of all, this can be cancelled. 1 million. But what about the error? Percentage में पूछ रहे वो. So percentage में पूछ रहे. So first of all, 1% means how much this is? 100 milliamperes plus or minus 1% means 1 by 100 of 100. That will be plus or minus 1. Next, this is 99 milliamperes plus or minus 1 by 100 of 99, that is 0.99. 1 by 100 of 99, that is 0.99. So what is I3 now? So the sum of the quantities are the subtraction of the quantities. The resultant absolute error is equal to subtraction of individual absolute errors. So 1 ampere plus or minus. So what happens? That 1 plus 0.99. So delta I3 is equal to delta I1 plus delta I2. Either it is sum of quantities or subtraction of quantities. The resultant absolute error is equal to sum of that. That is 1 plus 0.99. So 1.99 hoga. So the right answer for I3 is 1 milliampere plus or minus 1.99. But we need percentage. So how much percentage it is? In 1 milliampere. So how we have to calculate percentage? In 1 milliamperes, how much percentage will be 1.99? So it becomes as 100 से multiply करे तो 199 percentage. So the answer is option D is the right answer. How many of you answered this question? Anybody answered this question? Lakshman ji, namaskar. कैसे हो? Yes. चलो, let us go for the next question. IIT मद्रास 2003 का सवाल है, ये क्वेश्चन को कैसे अंडरस्टैंड करना? Try to answer this question. IIT मद्रास 2003 का सवाल है. A large number of 230 ohms or resistors are obtained by combining 120 ohms resistor with a standard deviation of 4.0 ohms and 110 ohms resistors with a standard deviation of 3 ohms. The standard deviation of the 230 ohms. A large number of 230 ohms resistors are obtained by combining 120 ohms resistor and 110 ohms. So 230 ohms resistor है, but 230 ohms resistor, you see here, the 230 ohms resistor is a combined of out 120 ohms एक resistor है and 110 ohms एक resistor है. Okay, 120 ohms एक resistor है, 110 ohms एक resistor है. So the standard deviation in 120 is equal to 4 ohms and the standard deviation with 110 is equal to 3 ohms. So Now the standard deviation in 230 is what? Standard deviation in 230 is what? How to answer this question? Anybody can tell that? So here if you see, the R is coming as a summation of R1 plus R2 na. The standard deviation R will be coming as standard deviation in R1 square plus standard deviation in R2 square. So the answer will be how much? So this is 4 square plus 3 square. So that is uncertainty question. Okay. So now you can take it out. Or else you can take uncertainty formula. Uncertainty in R can be taken as square root of, okay, dou R by dou R1 whole square and uncertainty in R1 whole square plus dou R by dou R2 whole square, and this is R2. So when you do differentiation of this, you are going to get 1. So the answer will be sigma R1 whole square plus sigma R2 whole square. This is uncertainty question. Okay, answer kitna aa raha hai? 16 plus 9, 25. So square root of 25 will be answer what? 5. So the right answer for this question is option B. Excellent. Santosh, yes. Clear? Very good questions, na? Let us please practice the questions clearly. आंसर दिस आईआईटी बॉम्बे 2005 का सवाल है. आईआईटी बॉम्बे 2005 का सवाल है, जल्दी आंसर करो बेटा. So see here, the measurement of voltage are given. So what are the voltages series? They are 5.9 volts, 5.7 volts, 6.1 volts. So he's asking the standard deviation. What is the standard deviation formula? Anybody can tell me? Anybody is here for standard deviation formula? So standard deviation formula is taken as square root of variance. So where S square is called the variance. So how to find out the variance? So first to find out the mean value. Okay, so first to find out the mean value. So first if you take the mean value x bar, what is the x bar? This is the average value. So first to find out the x bar, that is 5.9 plus 5.7 plus 6.1 by 3 होगा. So इसका आंसर कितना होगा? मीन कैलकुलेट करके बताओ यार. मीन कैलकुलेट. How much is coming? 5.9 plus 5.7 plus 6.1 by 3. So that is 17.7 by 3. So that is coming around 5.9 volts. So now the step 2 is you have to calculate the variance. Step 2 is you have to calculate the variance. So variance का expression है s square is equal to sigma. This is xi minus x mean. Okay, so आपने mean से subtract करना है इसको square divided by n minus 1. Divided by n minus 1 करना है. So this is that one. So what is the xi minus x bar? So first let us take xi is the first one. So if you take the xi minus x1, so how to solve this? So if you take this list here, so I can take this as 5.9 is the xi, this is a 5.7, this is the 6.1, this is the xi. Next xi minus x bar, that is 5.9 minus 5.9 minus 5.9. So this will be 5.9 minus 5.9. Next this is 5.7 minus 5.9. This is 6.1 minus 5.9. So this is 0, this is minus 0.2, this is plus 0.2. Done? Am I right? Okay, so now let us take xi minus x bar whole square. Very good question actually. X bar whole square, so that will become 0. This will become 0.2 whole square minus this will become 0.2 whole square. Next, sigma of this. So sigma of this will be how much? So 0.2 square plus 0.2 square. Done. So now s square is equal to sigma of that 0.2 square plus 0.2 square and the n minus 1, n is equal to 3 minus 1, that will be, so sorry, this will be 2. So how much is the answer? एक बार calculate करके बताया यार. How much you are going to get? 0.2 square means 2 square, 2 by 10, 4 by 100, that means 0.04 plus 0.04, 0.08 by 2. So this will be 0.08 by 2. That means 0.04, that is the s square. So sigma, this is a variance आ गया. So standard deviation is square root of 0.04. So 4 by 100 होगा, 2 बाहर आएगा, 10 बाहर. So 0.2 is the answer. So the right answer is 0.2. Very depth questions will ask. Yes, very depth questions will be asked my dear students. Instrumentation का paper का questions का quality ऐसा रहता है. गेट इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन क्वेश्चंस का क्वालिटी ऐसा रहता है, देखो बहुत अच्छा क्वालिटी क्वेश्चंस है. ओके, चलो नाउ ट्राई टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन. आईआईएससी बैंगलोर 2016 का सवाल. डबल ई ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम, बट डबल ई में जो क्वेश्चंस आगे आपने डिस्कस किया, Answer please. So see here this question. The voltage V1 is measured 100 times. Yes, the voltage V1 is measured 100 times. V1 is measured 100 times. And its average and standard deviations are given. So V1 average is given as 100 volts. Standard deviation in V1 is given as 1.5 volts respectively. A second voltage V2 is, which is independent of V1, is measured 200 times. This is measured 200 times. And its average and standard deviations are given. So V2 average 150 and the standard deviation in V2 is given, that is 2 volts respectively. V3 is computed as V1 plus V2 and the error asked in the standard deviation of V3. So sigma V3 is asking. So how to do it? So uncertainty, so you can take the uncertainty in V, sigma V3 is equal to, this is the V3 na, so dou V3 by dou V1 whole square, sigma in V1 whole square plus dou V3 by dou V2 whole square, sigma in V2 whole square. So this is the square root. So now if you check dou V3 by dou V1, if you check, that will become as 1. Dou V3 by dou V1, derivation 1. Sigma in V1, that is 1.5 square plus dou V3 by dou V2, that is 1 again, and sigma in V2 is given 2 square. So answer is 1.5 square plus 2 square. Answer कितना आ रहा है? Yes, but sigma you have to consider. Answer कितना आएगा इसका? 1.5 square plus 2. So you are getting how much answer? Square root of answer, that is 2. So answer is 2.5. Chalo, let us go for the last question for the day. Answer this question. IIT Delhi 2020 का क्वेश्चन है. Two 100 ohms resistors having tolerances 3% and 4% are connected in series. So two resistors R1 the effective tolerance of series combination R is equal to R1 plus R2. So R1 is 100 ohms plus R2 is also 100 ohms. But he is asking the effective tolerance. So R1 is given as 100 ohms plus or minus 3%. R2 is given as 100 ohms plus or minus 4%. So that means that will be 100 ohms plus or minus 3 ohms. This is 100 ohms plus or minus 4 ohms. So the R equivalent will be R1 plus R2. That will become 200 ohms plus or minus 7 ohms. So, but he's asking as a percentage. So in 200 ohms, how much percentage will become as 7 ohms? So that will become as how much? 3.5%. Why? Because 700 by 200. So the right answer is 3.5%. Done. Yes, लक्ष्मण कहाँ से हो आप? चलो answer this question. Mathura, BTech completed instrumentation or BTech? The voltages and currents drawn by a resistive load are measured with a 300 volts voltmeter of accuracy. So voltmeter value is 300 volts with the accuracy of 1%, and 5 amperes ammeter. So current amperes is 5 amperes ammeter with accuracy of 0.5%. The readings obtained are 200 volts and 2.5 amps. These are the full scale values. So the readings obtained are 200 volts and 2.5 amperes. Then the limiting error in computing the load resistance. Very, very good question. So what is the answer for this question? I am complete 10 subjects, 2 subjects are remaining, or 1 power system, second is power electronics. I am from Shreshth 2026 batch, sir. इसका the previous question का answer 2.5 go. इसका answer बताओ. So this is a full scale value and this is a measurement value. So he is asking the limiting error. So first of all, first to find out the limiting error for this. What is the limiting error for this? See here, full scale value is how much? 300 volts. 300 volts के ऊपर कितना है? 1% error है. So what is the error? So plus or minus 3. Now percentage of limiting error for measurement of how much? For measurement of 200 volts. So plus or minus 3 by 200. That will become plus or minus 1.5%. So it is 1.5%. Next, similarly, ammeter if you measure, full scale value is 5 amperes plus or minus 0.5%. So error is what? 0.5 divided by 100 into 5. So 25 by 1000, that is 0.025. 0.025. So percentage of limiting error is what? With respect to 2.5 amperes. So percentage of limiting error will be how much? Plus or minus 0.025 divided by 2.5 into 100. So ये कितना होगा? वन परसेंट हो रहा है. So this is 1%. So आंसर कितना आ गया इसका? So now this is the V measurement. This is a R measurement. And next I am going to get I. So is asked, sorry, this is I measurement. Question पूछ रहे R. R is equal to V by I. So 2.5% is the answer. 2.5% is the answer na? Yes. Okay. So these are the good questions. So please think about these questions. Please practice these questions. Okay. Good questions we have discussed. Anybody is having any doubts? Done? I am giving some questions as assignment. Try to do that. So please take this question as assignment. This question you take it as assignment. Next, try to take this question also assignment. Try to take this question also assignment, and try to take this question also assignment. So 5 questions I have given. So मिस मत करना, क्वेश्चंस को करके आ जाना. कल का क्लास में हम मेजरिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट डिस्कस करेंगे. ओके, डन? Enough for today. रात में करो, tomorrow will. हो गया, चलो.